CSR in the context of Indian corporates has been less about responsibility and more about liability. When it comes to the business of real estate, the track record has been pretty poor. However, how many people are aware that there is one CSR program in the context of Indian real estate which could be showcased to the world as an ideal example of how to do a CSR? I am talking about the CSR program of Sobha Limited, the #1 real estate company in terms of its brand value, also has been rated #1 in terms of its CSR. Today, I have with me the gentleman who is the board member and trustee of that CSR program, someone who is driving it, and the company is spending as much as 5 to 7% against the mandatory spend of 2%. And I would like to ask him, what is it that is actually driving the Sobha CSR? Is it the charitable mindset, or is it something that is leveraging it to your brand also?
Well, for Mr. PNC Menon, the founder of this group, CSR is not charity, it is responsibility. It is not also a mandatory requirement as per company law, because that is something that has emerged very recently as an obligation that is to be met by companies of a certain character. But Mr. Menon started fulfilling his responsibility towards society long ago, long before the company law required him to do any such thing. He started doing his work primarily out of what he describes as the joy of giving. He feels that the society which made him what he is, it requires him to return his obligation towards that society. So he started giving back to the environment from which he came, primarily 3 panchayats in the district of Palakkad in Kerala, where he started providing comprehensive support to those who need it most. And what he has been doing is supporting them in the areas of education, health care, support to senior citizens, also to single mothers or young mothers who are widows. So there is a comprehensive, sustainable program where he does not compromise on the quality of giving. So just as quality is a very important aspect of the business side of Sobha, anybody who visits our CSR projects will find that there is absolutely no compromise on quality when it comes to giving as well. What we have is an education program which includes an English medium CBSE school for 1,200 children. We also have a state education program, higher secondary scheme for children from neighboring government schools, and a full-time program of our own. So this looks after the educational needs of the people of that locality. Similarly, we have a health support program which looks after not only these children, about 1,500 children who are supported by us, but also their parents. So we support about 4,500 families in that region in a sustainable way, taking in children at the age of 4 and taking them up to 12th standard through our own educational institutions. And beyond that, we support them for their undergraduate program wherever they get admission in different parts of India by paying the fees, the hostel expenses, pocket money, etc. So it is a program where children join us at the age of 4 and they complete their graduation from some of the top universities of India. So it is like getting a lottery ticket for life to be part of the CSR program for the families concerned. What we do is to ensure that anybody who needs it most gets the benefits of this program. For that, we have a socio-economic survey conducted in the villages. We have a social empowerment department which monitors, not only selects the beneficiaries, but monitors their progress over time and ensures that wherever they require support, that support is being provided. It is a unique CSR program, and we feel that many other companies, not only from the real estate sector, but in many other sectors,
In real
could
estate,
benefit.
there are many developers who are trying to study the Sobha model today. But when Sobha started, there was no precedence. So how did you roll out this plan? How did you conceptualize that this is the way, this is the best way to go ahead with a CSR program?
As I mentioned, we started with a social empowerment team which went out to the field to identify what the beneficiaries need. Rather than telling them that this is what you need, we made an effort to find out what are their priorities, which are the areas in which they require support. So it is driven by the beneficiaries as to what are the various projects that we roll out. So it is not our going and telling them that this is what is good for you, but asking them what is it that they need. I think that is at the basis of the success of this program. Second, as I mentioned, quality. You can help people in many ways, but to do it ensuring the best quality. And this I found when I tell Mr. Menon, when we discuss details of programs, he says, I want to give these children the best opportunity, and that would be the same quality of opportunity that my own grandchildren have today. So we have provided in the school all kinds of facilities which you do not find in most CBSE schools in India. So it is an attempt to give the best to the people who need it most. And what is most satisfying about it, the children are doing exceedingly well. They are going to the best universities. They are competing with people who are far more fortunate than them, who have had the opportunity of greater exposure. And the sustainability of the whole program. We are not doing something for 1 year or 2 years. A minimum of 14 years is what the children spend with us from kindergarten to the 12th standard, and beyond that we support them for another 3 years. So 17 years being spent on each child. That is the long-term vision and commitment that Sobha has undertaken.
Sobha has always maintained that this is not brand building exercise. This has not been done to ensure that we are seen as a respectable brand. But the fact of the matter is that this CSR initiative has helped your brand a lot.
Well, yes. The purpose of undertaking such work is genuine interest in the well-being of the people. The area in which we have chosen the beneficiaries is an area where we have no projects as such. So they are not in any way connected with our employees or people working on our projects. So there is no such direct commercial sort of interest in our project. So it is divorced from that in many ways. But what we do is we encourage people to come and see what we are doing. We do not enlist volunteers. We do not take any money from anybody else, including well-wishers who come and see what we are doing, like what we are doing and wish to contribute. We do not accept any of that. We have a team of about 230 staff members who are full-time employees of the trust to implement the program. That's the kind of commitment that most companies, forget real estate, but even other big corporations in India do not generally take the trouble of having a team of their own to implement CSR themselves. They prefer to write a check and we avoid that. We do not indulge in checkbook philanthropy. We prefer to do our projects, give it thought and plan it properly, and implement it, as I said, with sustainability, which is really long term. So, we are not doing an annual impact assessment. Our impact assessment is over a lifetime. So it's a different model altogether. We welcome people to come and see what we are doing, and it may help us because of the positive outcome of such a program. People understand that it is genuine sharing of responsibility towards society, and it is not purely a mandatory exercise of of compliance requirement. It's not compliance requirement for us. As you said, the requirement is only to spend 2% of profit, but we are spending close to 7%.
Over the years, you have set a benchmark. Any future plan as far as your CSR activities are concerned?
Yes, now we have a model that has worked for us for more than 15 years. So, what we would like to do, if we can rustle up more resources in the future, is to try and replicate this in other parts of India. We have made a beginning by looking at the possibility of doing similar projects, say in Karnataka, and then extending it to other parts of India. So, Mr. Menon's vision is to raise it to about 10 times the current level of activity, for which more resources would be required, and he has committed to give a substantial part of his personal wealth for expanding the program in the future.
Thank you, sir. So, this has been the trustee of Sobha CSR program, somebody who is spearheading the kind of CSR which Indian corporates have not tried to replicate. Many of them are studying the Sobha model, but at the end of the day, what has really worked in favor of Sobha is that there is no class of interest, there is no business opportunity over there. It's a genuine corporate social responsibility coming out of the promoter's personal vision in how he wants to see the society taking shape. With this is Ravi Sinha, Track to Reality.